Ashley.
And you're listening to the Behind the Curtains podcast.
A Camp Caroline special. Hello, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Behind the Curtains podcast, a Camp Caroline special.
Woohoo!
And in this episode, we are going to be talking about writing the show, directing, costuming, auditions for the show.
All of the creative aspects of the show.
Yes, most definitely.
Speaking of auditions, Ashley, how does this sound? Hello there, welcome to the Behind the Curtains podcast! Would I be cast?
I'm gonna have to check with my fellow counselors on that one and deliberate about it.
So tell us about the auditioning and casting process of Camp Caroline each year.
Yeah, so the audition and casting process is pretty standard and pretty low-key. We don't want to stress out the kids too much.
Except they were probably all stressed out every year.
Yeah, it's just for fun, just to see who'd be the best suited for each role. So basically, we'd host it at Caroline's house about a week before camp started. And they'd come in, they'd sing a song if they wanted to sing a song. Mm-hmm. They didn't have to sing if they didn't want to. We'd have them read some lines from the show. And then we'd go ahead and give them their script so that they could take it home and start working on their lines the week before camp started. And then basically after all the auditions were done, all the counselors, we just talk about each kid and what role we thought suited each of them best. And then that night, we'd send out the cast list, which is very different from any other theater program, if you know, because I do be waiting, in fact, like 3 months, like months.
Yes, yes.
So they got it back the night of, which is very nice, so they could go ahead and look over the character, get a good feel for it, get a feel for their lines and what they'll be doing, and just get excited for camp the following week.
Right, and as the years progressed, because we did shows that all the kids knew the characters of, we had Descendants, Teen Beach Movie, Inside Out, we had very popular shows. A lot of the kids came into auditions knowing what character they wanted to try out for, which was very helpful for us because, if they have an opinion, then we get to, we don't have to make the choice for them, right?
Yeah.
And
they know their strengths, they know what they'll be, what parts will be suited
our job was just putting them in the most successful place that they would, be most successful in. Yeah. And I think we made some very good casting decisions over the years. And the greatest thing about it was because, you probably think, why would you say it was low-key? That sounds super intimidating. Well, it was low-key because they were already signed up for the camp, and there was a role for everyone. There was enough roles for each kid, and every kid had a line. Every kid was featured. So it wasn't, no kid was tree number 1 to the right.
Yeah. And that's something super special about Camp Caroline is how much it was created for the kids.
Right.
We made sure as kids were signing up that there was a line, like you said, or there was a part for everyone, which is something you can't really get anywhere else because the show's already written. There's a set number of parts, but we were able, because we wrote our own show, to adjust it to the kids so that it would best suit them and best fit their strengths, which leads us into talking about the script itself and writing it, which is what started very first in the process. As soon as we were done with that show of that year, we were starting back again in August, writing the script and getting the story.
Yeah, and so we gave ourselves kind of the timeline of how this worked was camp would be in July and then starting up August. So pretty much right after camp, we would start the next year of the script, and we would write the script for about 6 months until December because we weren't just writing the script. We were adding new characters to the plot, and we were also writing the songs and composing the music, which was really important. But one of my favorite things that we did each year was how we picked the show. Do you want to tell a little bit of how we picked the show, Ashley?
Yeah, so we, all of the counselors and everyone, we'd all kind of give input, and obviously the kids had some ideas, so we had just a bunch of show ideas floating around, a bunch of different ideas that we'd put into a little bowl.
And we would vote too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I remember one year we put it into a bowl and we picked it out. I forget I think it might have been...
I think it was Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah.
Was the show that we
might
picked.
have been Secret Life of Pets. But... So that was only when we'd already narrowed it down and the counselors had seriously thought about the options,
right?
And so
they weren't crazy random shows that
they weren't. No matter what we would have picked, it would have been awesome. But our shows, I feel also kind of matured with us, and as the kids matured, because we started with Winnie the Pooh, Inside Out, Secret Life of Pets. Then we kind of moved it up to like Descendants, Teen Beach Movie, which are more like preteen, teenager type shows, but they were always
Scooby-Doo.
Oh yes, and Scooby-Doo was awesome. That might have been my favorite show.
Honestly. I think that was one of my favorites
that was a really strong year for us.
That was.
Writing the script was super fun for us because we got to be so creative and make different storylines. I don't even know. It didn't even feel like, it sounds like this big daunting thing, like how do we do that, but I don't know.
It didn't feel like it at the time.
We would just have so much fun. Like, we just FaceTime after school and just get to writing. And I'm trying to think of, like, one of the specific storylines we came up with, or, like, how we came up with it. But I think we just, like,
me and you together were so creative. And every show we picked, also, we knew the characters very well. And we did a bunch of research on the movie. I remember watching Teen Beach Movie over and over again with you.
And it just kind of,
to decide how we wanted the plots. And some of these shows that we picked, like Teen Beach Movie, already has songs in it. So, I can't remember. Did we use some of the songs from the show?
We used the songs from the shows for Teen Beach and Descendants.
Okay, so it depended on the show.
Songs
right.
So much.
But we also like to compose our own and add our own for each show.
Yes.
And put our own twist on it.
But yeah, just when we were working together, it all kind of just flowed very naturally, bounced off ideas, and then before we knew it, we had a plot line, we had ideas, we had new characters, new songs, and it was just an awesome process that we worked on up until December was when we would finalize the script and start moving on to other things before camp.
Right.
Like costuming, set design, and makeup and hair.
Yes, so that leads us into kind of the creative outlet part that we got to do and design. So after creating the show, we would have, the roles that we created by ourselves. And we made up the characters that didn't actually exist in the real shows, in the real movies that we had created in our very own Camp Caroline show. So we created a little notes file together, and we would come up with costume inspo, almost like a Pinterest board of all the things we wanted. And it was my favorite day of the year was costume shopping with the counselors.
Oh yes, we would go into Goodwill and just see if anything inspired us, anything was giving the energy of the characters we'd created, and we'd kind of base like the majority of our costumes off of that, because that was super budget friendly and just a super fun and creative way to like look for costumes and ideas. And then as we would kind of like had a certain piece to like base the costume off of, we would kind of fill it in with things from our own closets that the kids could wear, things from Amazon, things from other stores.
Right.
We really just wanted to make the vision come to life. And one thing that I think we did super well with our costume design and our costuming was I feel like every character had like a color or like a very like straightforward.
Every show we had was very bold colored. Yes.
And very like specific characters that were all very different and contrasting. So that made the costume super easy because we were like a very obvious example of this would be Inside Out. Like we all know like Joy's yellow, Disgust is green. But then even like for Secret Life of Pets, Descendants, Teen Beach Movie, like each character had a very specific personality that was very different from any other character, and that made the costuming process feel super natural and super...
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was the best part when the kids would get so excited about seeing their costume, Wednesday of Camp Week, which we can get more into Camp Week later, was the costume day try on. So they would be so excited to see their costume and what they were going to be wearing, and it was so cool. It was so awesome. And another part of the Goodwill Day in the counselor thing was we split it up in teams usually. Oh yeah. And we almost made it a competition. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And so it just added a little level of that to our staff development of we would have different teams and a competition of who could find more items and who could find it first.
Yep.
Which was really fun.
In terms of doing like the hair and makeup, that kind of depended on the kid, depended on
the show as well.
What they could do at home and what we could do here at camp. Right. But I thought it was super fun because we really got to obviously we bonded with the kids the entire week, and then that Friday of the show was super special because all of them, basically all the counselors, we were all there on Friday, and we'd all just kind of split up, do the kids' makeup, and it was a super, super, cute bonding moment for us where you get to, take them backstage, do their makeup. We kept it very simple for the kids.
Right, depending on the show.
Just some, eyeshadow, those, the color their character would wear, and some, lip gloss.
And Secret Life of Pets, we had, because they were animals, we had, some of them had, spots on their face because they were dogs, or lizards we had, which was super cool. But the makeup and hair also was a little bit more tailored to after the cast list, especially the hair piece, actually. It depends on what hair the kid had. Yeah. So that was a little bit more, not as, I would say, pre-planned.
Yeah. But we definitely had, ideas in terms of the makeup,
absolutely.
You're more edgy, more sweet, different types of characters, stuff like that. But doing hair and makeup with the kids is always super, super fun.
Mm-hmm. And another big part of the, I would say, creative part of it was the set design. And the set building, which...
The set was so much fun.
One of my favorite parts. Ashley, you can tell me your favorite set piece. I hope it's not the same. But my favorite set piece throughout the years was the Mystery Mobile.
Oh, that
from Scooby-Doo.
Awesome.
If you look up a picture of the Mystery Mobile after this, and it is the Scooby-Doo van that they all ride in. That's famous because we did Scooby-Doo one year, and we got this big piece of insulation foam board, and I created and painted this huge Mystery Mobile. That was very, very cool. Do you have a favorite set piece?
I think every year we had this big board that would kind of be the backdrop for the show that we would put up, and we would kind of repaint it every year. I really liked the Teen Beach movie set with the Big Mama sign was awesome.
And we had the lifeguard chair.
As well as the that was really cool with the lifeguard chair, as well as the Descendants, because I liked painting the Ordon prep sign, and then we had vines and flowers for the idol
flower wall. Yeah,
that was really cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah,
I agree.
I also liked all our props that we got to use in Teen Beach with the beach towels, the beach balls. That was just a super fun show to work on.
That was. And the props were also a whole nother part of it, depending on what plot and storyline the show had. Some of them, they were set in a school setting, so we would have binders that the kids would carry on, and we would have fake phones to use for phone calls in the show for the characters. There was a lot of props and stuff that went into it as well.
Yeah, lots of different stuff going on.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed our little overview of what the set and the creative process and the costumes and the casting process all looked like for Camp Caroline, all the things that added up into creating this awesome and special week for the kids. And next week, stay tuned because we are going to be talking about building the dream team of staff and counselors with a few special guests.
Oh yes, you're definitely going to hear what these guests have to say because I'm sure you're tired of hearing me and Caroline talk the whole time. So you'll get to hear from some of our fave staff members who decided to come back and talk about camp.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited to see you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.